I have an activity planned, and I have rewards for good participation, but I can only give those out if I see you in here trying your best. So just a reminder, can you please raise your hand if you remember what informative text means? Gina. Gives you information about the text. Excellent. Anybody else remember what informative text does or what it contains? I see Adrian's hand.
It can give you good information and things you can prove.
Okay, helps you prove things. Excellent observation. Anybody else? I'm going to add to that helps you prove things or make your point. Okay, I see Tamara. You were just pretending? Okay.
No, I was about to say something.
Change your mind? Okay. Antonio?
Information about the topic.
Okay. Information about the text. I'm going to add to that or topic. Does it contain opinions or facts?
Facts.
Facts. Can anyone give me an example of what informative text, what types of text are informative text? Go ahead, Quintavia.
Like nonfiction.
Nonfiction, exactly.
Taste.
So those things that we talked about that give you information about what you're reading, like bibliographies, documentary films. When we watched that film on the way to school, that was a type of informative a film, but still an information about a topic. Anybody else think they know the definition of what science fiction is? We've been reading Isaac Asimov this week and the Toys story. So when you were reading that information, what kind of common themes did you see? If you think you haven't read that yet, but you've read the Toys.
That book right there. The Isaac. What's the name?
Oh no, we would. Yeah.
Raise your hand if you remember reading the Toys book.
We had the fun they had.
It's not the fun thing.
The fun they have? Oh, okay. So that was a type of science fiction that we read together.
Yes, it was.
I'm going to wait till I have silence from everybody. Raise your hand if you think you can describe what science fiction is, what type of literature that is. Jaden, go ahead. It entertains you? Absolutely correct. Is it, go ahead.
Oh, it's something, I know it's something that's not true. It's kind of like an entertaining story.
Not true. So what's another way of saying not true?
Fiction.
Fiction. So it's actually contained in the title. So not true. One of the main things to me that makes science fiction different from fantasy fiction or fairy tales or things like that is that it's grounded in science and technology. So it's things that are fantastic that don't really happen in reality on Earth in our everyday lives, but they're things that could happen. So if you think about the technology that we have that we use in our lives, think about some type of technology that you use, your parents use, or your teacher uses. When you think of a type of technology, go ahead.
She uses a computer.
Okay, yeah. So a computer is an excellent example of a type of technology that teachers use. So what science fiction does is it takes that technology to the next level and makes it do something fantastic. Hold off on your questions, guys. It takes it to a next level. So think of something in your imagination right now that computers can't do, but they might be able to do in like 200 years if we keep developing the technology. So use your imagination. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Something that would be really cool if computers could do. Christian? Say it louder. It turns into something? A computer that turns into something? Okay, great. I'm going to write that down. Example, a computer that turns into something. What's something that Christian's computer could turn into? I'll take hands. That turns into something that could be helpful, maybe? What could his supercomputer turn into, Jamisha? A robot? A computer that turns into a robot. Okay. Excellent example. I want to take it back for just a second. Can anybody else think of a type of technology that we use in our lives? Quintess?
A phone.
A cell phone, okay. So yeah, cell phones help us communicate, stay in touch with each other, look up information. Cell phones can do so much more than they could 20 years ago when I had my little flip phone. What's something that cell phones can't do right now, but it would be so cool if they could do them, and maybe we'll develop that technology in 20 years that they could do? Go ahead, Derica. They could send money.
If you like mail.
Oh, okay, you press a button and it gives you money? That would be amazing. A computer. So, hold up, guys. A cell phone that gives you money?
Yes, yeah, and when it has like a chart if you're working hard or not, and you like to put your phone down, and you'll have interviews like from your boss and stuff to see how you're doing, and that determines if you can like.
I like it. All right, listen up. Yeah, cars. So what it does is it takes those pieces of technology that we love, that we use in our lives, and it just kind of takes them to that next level. Science fiction also typically involves, it can involve like space travel, visiting different worlds and planets and aliens, and just all kinds of different fantastic things that we can't really do right now. But if we had a spaceship that could take us to, you know, a different solar system, we might discover people who look just like us, but instead of being pink and brown and whatever, everybody there is purple and blue and yellow. So you just kind of have to use your big imagination when you're thinking about science fiction. And that's what we're going to be doing today with this activity. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to give you a topic, and the topics that I'm going to give you are problems. They're problems that we either deal with here at school, or it could be a problem that this community deals with, or it could be a problem that maybe they have in another state that's creating problems, or it could be a problem that our Earth is experiencing. So I'm going to give you guys some different scenarios of some different topics that we're going to try to brainstorm around to come up with solutions for. Okay? So hold up. When we're just brainstorming about this, how we could write an informative paragraph about poor attendance, what are some ideas that you guys have that we can inform other people about how we could solve this problem with poor attendance? So when you're thinking about how we could solve this problem, try to use the words time machine, parent phone call, bear buck, suspension or suspended, personal rocket, or consequence, okay? So we need a topic sentence though first. So what can we have for a topic sentence about the issue of poor attendance? So what can we do to set things up for our informative paragraph, make a better choice? It's about to be mine. I see you. Go ahead.
I thought that like for our topic sentence, we could put when your child has poor attendance or impairments.
Okay, so that's a great start of a sentence. When your child has poor attendance,
They late or and we have to use those words. They need a real
waiting to see raised hands. So I'm going to write that down because I thought that was a good start. So we'll write it here. When your child, I need to hear silence. When your child has poor attendance, comma.
It should,
Wait, that's a great start, Antonio. Finish that thought.
They should not be able to go to the bear book.
How about we make it more general? So we're setting up the rest of our paragraph. That's a great one. Can you say that again? They will get a consequence. Silence. Okay, so what could the next sentence be? So now we've said they could get a consequence. So maybe we have some ideas about what that consequence could be. Go ahead, Quintez.
Okay. Sometimes I don't get no consequences. I'm late because mom got 3 schools to go to.
We can talk about your personal situation afterwards, Quintez, and I hear you, and I know that it's not always students' fault. We know that, but this is just a hypothetical situation we're setting up to say it was the child's responsibility to get here and their moms didn't have 3 jobs, 3 schools, whatever. The child was just showing up here late because they were showing up here late and they were not coming because they wanted to go do something else. We're brainstorming ideas around that, but you're right. There are circumstances that we need to keep in mind for students who are, maybe it's not necessarily their fault. So now that we've set that up, we need to say what maybe those consequences could be, Quantavion.
Also, your child will not get bear books.
Okay, so we, okay. So I don't know if also, guys, you can agree or disagree with him, but either way I need you to raise your hand before you talk, okay? So he said maybe they will not get bear bucks, okay? So your child will not get bear bucks. Hang on, I see you, I promise I see you. Okay, so now we say, when your child has poor attendance, they will get a consequence. Your child will not get a bear buck. Okay, so that's 2 sentences. We need to build on this paragraph because we can't just have 2 sentences in a paragraph. Go ahead. So what is your sentence? Shartia, what is your sentence?
She said she want to make kids make up.
What is your thought? I want to help you come up with your sentence, but I'm trying to understand what you were thinking was. We're talking about a child who has missed a lot of days because they have chosen not to be here because they're making bad choices. What are some ideas about how we can solve that problem? Trying to use words from this word bank. Anybody other than just Adrian or Quintez? Go ahead, Jaden. They could get suspended, okay? That's definitely a consequence. And I like that you used a word from the word bank. We're going to underline the words that we used from the word bank. Did we use any other words?
Bear book.
We used bear buck too. Great. So we used 3. I'm only asking you guys to use 2 choices from the word bank in your paragraph. Yeah, it can be. And please raise your hand before you ask questions. But you only have to use 2, okay? So let's do, Miss Copeland, how many sentences do you ask your students to have in a paragraph?
4 or 5.
5? Okay, so we've got 3 sentences. We need 2 more. Any other ideas?
An opening, like an opening sentence.
Uh-huh.
And then 3 sentences that
Support. Okay.
And then 1 closing sentence.
Okay, so we need 1 more supporting sentence and a closing sentence.
And your closing sentence and your opening sentence are basically saying the same thing, but
Got it.
yeah.
Okay, so who has another supporting sentence about what a consequence could be? Somebody that hasn't provided an example yet. Antonio.
They can have a time machine and go back when they missed the days.
Hold that thought because we can save that for our science fiction story because we don't have time machines in real life, right?
No.
But we could have them in our science fiction story. So I want you to hang on to that idea and use it at a later point, okay? So who has another supporting idea of what a consequence could be for poor attendance, Jamisha? Okay, so the school could call their parents?
To see why they missed somebody today.
Okay. All right, now we need a good closing sentence. The school could call their parents. Who thinks they have an excellent way to close out these thoughts? Lillian. Okay, somebody help her? Derica? Okay, so maybe can I adapt that a little bit to students should not miss too many days of school? It's almost what you said. Okay. All right, so now we are on to our science fiction version. Students should not miss any too many days of school. All right, excellent work, guys. So what could be a way that we can introduce our science fiction story? So think about how fictional stories often begin. It could be you introduce a character, or it could be once upon a time, or it could be in a land far away, or it could be in a land nearby. I want you guys to think of how we could introduce this story of a solution for our students who have poor attendance in a science fiction kind of way. Go ahead, Quantavion. You look like you're about to burst.
Once upon a time, there was a boy that missed too many days of school.
I love it. Once upon a time, there was a boy. See how I'm indenting? Who missed? Don't forget about our word bank. Okay. So we're trying to use science fiction solutions to this boy's problem using our word bank. Lillian, you want to try again?
What?
He made a time machine to make up the days he missed. You said that too, right? Okay. Excellent. You both had a great idea. He made a time machine. So what happened after he used his time machine? This is a story, guys. We're telling a tale.
He went back to
Hold up. Think about it.
days
Think
he
about it
missed.
and raise your hand. To make up the days he missed. Okay. What happened to him next, Quintez? What happened to our boy? Have we used any words from our...
He made a personal rocket. He made a personal rocket, gave it to a teacher so he won't get in trouble.
Okay. So why would he give the personal rocket to his teacher?
So
Quit
she can go out of
moving
space.
this table, please, sir. Do what?
So she can go out of space.
Okay.
And he won't be able to see him.
Okay. So we've used the word time machine. I want to make sure I do this. You're proposing that we use personal rocket. So he's kind of like bribing his teacher so he won't get in trouble. He's giving her gifts.
Make her go out of space for me.
Oh, okay. So she can't get him in trouble if she's in outer space. I like it. All right. He gave his teacher a personal rocket to send her to
Mars.
space. Okay.
Pluto.
To go to Pluto? Okay. Raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to give you your scenarios. I want you to read over them. Each one of you is going to have a different scenario. Like I said, some of these are going to be local, some of these are going to be national, and some of these are going to be global. So everyone's going to be very different. Actually, let's do it this way. The person who is reading the informative text, raise your hand from your group. Okay, so what I'm going to have each one of you do is briefly explain what the problem is, and then I want you to read your informative paragraph about possible solution to the problem, and we'll go around this way, okay? All right, go ahead.
In Texas, there lived a girl, simple, normal as all the other kids in town. Droughts are causing less water for living things. Who care? Scientists have created design clouds that give us water, or we could just get water from Mars. Droughts are not that important, Andy says. Andy flew her car to get water from Mars. She met a girl at Mars who was taking all the water.